What's happening, lads? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Thumbaldinho here, and we are here for the preview of Manchester United versus Brentford tomorrow in the Premier League on a Monday night, which I'm a little worried about because Manchester United usually don't do well on a Monday night this season, especially at Old Trafford, because when we do play at Old Trafford on the Monday night this season, we haven't won. We did win away against Wolves and Everton, but on a Monday night this season, Old Trafford, we're not great. We are fucking shite. So we need to change that, and I think we will change that tomorrow against Brentford. But this is your preview for Manchester United versus Brentford tomorrow in the Premier League. So look, what do we know right now this moment in time? Well, Manchester United are officially 6 points off getting Champions League this season. 6 points. That is literally all we need to qualify for the Champions League next season. And what a way to do it. Tomorrow night against Brentford at Old Trafford, and then to play Liverpool on Sunday at Old Trafford just to seal it. It would be absolutely beautiful if we could do that tomorrow. And yes, look, it's going to be tough because look, in terms of the opposition, Brentford, under Keith Andrews this season, they have done an amazing job. You know, and getting results, being in the position they're in. You know, they battered us at the start of the season, you know. And let me just say, before the start of the season, I predicted Brentford to go down because I looked at Keith Andrews as a manager now, and I was like, this is underwhelming. I thought it was a step down from Thomas Frank, but clearly not, because Thomas Frank has Spurs in a way worse, you know, position than Brentford, and obviously Thomas Frank ended up getting sacked from it. But looking at Keith Andrews and the job he's done, they're fighting for Europe. Like, they're actually fighting for Europe, and it's a massive race, you know, between the likes of them, Bournemouth, Brighton, Chelsea now, who've dragged themselves into that situation. Brentford could get a European place this season, and credit where credit is due to Keith Andrews, you know, because, you know, as an Irish coach as well, it is actually really good to see, you know, someone doing a really good job there. And yeah, look, credit to him. And as I said, they battered us at the start of the season, you know, when we had Ruben Amorim, and obviously we were playing a different system, 3-4-3, players not buying into the style or, you know, what Ruben Amorim wanted to do and stuff like that. But it was an amazing achievement so far, what they've done. An amazing achievement. So, fair play to Brentford, but with all due respect, respectfully, Brentford, with all due respect, we should be beating you tomorrow. We have to be beating Brentford tomorrow at Old Trafford. It's as simple as that. If we can't do that, then honestly, lads, if we go and draw or, you know, lose, it's just a momentum killer. You know, we just don't want that going into the game against Liverpool, you know, who had a good result against Crystal Palace. So, you know, we should all be focused on this game tomorrow. As I said, I do think Manchester United have sealed a Champions League spot, but it's not official yet. 6 points is all we need to completely seal it and obviously be back in the big time next season. So, you know, Jesus, I do think it's vital. I really do think it's vital we win tomorrow. And looking at the team that we should be playing, you know, I can go through the starting 11 right now. In goal, Lamens, you know, obviously one of the best keepers in the league this season, you know, absolutely has been a revelation of Manchester United this season. In terms of the back four, we do have Harry Maguire back, but I do want to give credit to the back four in the last game because Mazwari in heaven, I did not expect to play the last game. You know, I thought it was going to be Shaw in heaven. But Mazwari in heaven surprisingly worked really well. I thought they complemented each other really well. You know, they were winning balls in the air from crosses, winning their battles, winning their duels. They were fantastic in the last game as a partnership. And Mazwari, does he deserve to be dropped in this game? Not particularly, no, he doesn't. But when you have a player like Harry Maguire coming back into the side, I do think it's vital he starts. I do. I think Harry Maguire has to start this game. You know, with the experience, obviously the height he possesses, you know, his power, his strength, and up against a striker like Igor Thiago, who's been so informed this season, I think that would be a very good battle, actually, with him and Maguire. Now, we didn't go too well, obviously, in the 3-1 loss to them, but with the way we're playing under Carrick right now, and obviously playing 4 at the back, I do think Maguire, you know, can do really well, obviously, up against Igor Thiago. So, look, it's going to be a very interesting battle to see what we do, but it's going to be an interesting, you know, situation tomorrow. Like, is it going to be Mazwari in heaven or is it going to be Heaven and Maguire? And the reason why I keep saying Heaven is because Heaven has to start. Heaven was so good against Chelsea. Absolutely unbelievable. And should not be dropped. It has to be Maguire and Heaven, in my opinion. And obviously Luke Shaw as the left back. I think that back four will be really solid and hopefully can keep another clean sheet tomorrow. In terms of the midfield, Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo. Can I just give appreciation to Kobbie Mainoo? Kobbie Mainoo was absolutely scintillating against Chelsea. Scintillating. An absolute stellar performance from Kobbie Mainoo. So comfortable, so controlled and dictated the game for Manchester United in the midfield area. You know, whenever Chelsea would make a sloppy mistake, he would pounce on it, he would intercept it, you know, and he would take control of the game. He really would. Absolute massive appreciation to Kobbie Mainoo. He was so good in the last game. Bruno Fernandes, let me just say about Bruno Fernandes for a moment. This is your PFA Player of the Year, by the way. Bruno Fernandes has to win PFA Player of the Year. If he doesn't win that award, it's a total and utter disgrace. Like, don't get me wrong. If Arsenal or Man City win the league, obviously the likes of Declan Rice and maybe Haaland, you know, even Semenyo might have a chance. But with the influence, in my opinion, that Bruno Fernandes has had on Manchester United this season, I feel like if we didn't have Bruno Fernandes this season, we would be in a way worse position. Like, we would not be sitting third in the league without Bruno Fernandes. We would be sitting probably 7th or 8th, where Chelsea are right now, without question. You know, having a player like Bruno Fernandes at our disposal is absolutely vital, so important, and hopefully he's there next season. I'm praying he stays at Manchester United. And the fact that we have Champions League, well, hopefully get Champions League football now, you know, I think that's a massive indicator that he could be staying at the club. But he has to win PFA Player of the Year. I don't want to see Rice winning it. Even though I think he's been very good this season, Declan Rice, and very influential to Arsenal, he hasn't been as much influential, you know, as Bruno has to Manchester United. And obviously Haaland and Semenyo, they might have a chance, but nowhere near what Bruno Fernandes has done. He has 2 assists from matching the assist record and 3 away from breaking it. Like, he's going to break it. I have no doubt about it. So yeah, obviously Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, the front three is very interesting because I just want to talk about this for a moment. Cunha has been very good for Manchester United as of late. You know, he's been one of our informed players and he's been absolutely unbelievable this season. Bryan Mbeumo was very good, you know, at the start of the season, and obviously in January, February time, you know, he was very good, obviously scoring against City, Arsenal and teams like that, and obviously being very influential, you know, in terms of goal contributions. In the last month or two, you know, March and now April, he hasn't been that great. He's had a few stinkers here and there, and he's been anonymous in some games. You know, I'm looking at some of the games. Leeds, you know, he wasn't really that great. I think obviously the last game against Chelsea, he wasn't that great. You know, and some, you know, games here and there, you know, obviously against, I think Aston Villa, where we won, he wasn't that great. So, look, it's vital that, you know, he starts picking up a bit of form now. You know, this is the business end of the season now. He needs to start picking up a bit of form, and I've no doubt he can do that because Bryan Mbeumo is an absolutely unbelievable footballer, and, you know, he's been an amazing signing, but I just want to see a bit more, you know, bring back that consistency. Once he gets that first goal back, I think he could go on a bit of a run for the rest of the season. That's just the type of player that Bryan Mbeumo is. Once he gets a goal, he'll keep scoring and scoring and scoring. That's what he was like under Brentford, or that's what he was like at Brentford. So, and the same with Ahmad. Like, Ahmad has so much quality and talent, you know, behind him that he can win a game by the scruff of the neck. You know, he can actually win a game on his own, Amad Diallo, because of how actually good he is. But again, another player that has just been inconsistent at the moment. You know, he's had a few good performances in terms of off the ball, you know, where he's working hard and winning the ball back. But going forward, you know, and in possession, he hasn't been that great. So obviously Sesko has been influential for Man United in terms of goals and goal contributions and stuff like that. Absolutely vital this season in terms of goals. You know, if he doesn't score against, obviously, Everton, we probably come away that with a draw at the Dill Hickinson Stadium. And obviously the away game against West Ham, we probably come away with that from, you know, with a defeat. So games like that, and obviously the Fulham game where we won 3-2 in the last minute, if Sesko doesn't score these goals, you know, we wouldn't be third right now. So he's obviously been very vital, but again, I want a bit more from Sesko as well. So look, Cunha's doing a really good job. Just a bit more from Sesko and Mbeumo and Ahmad and, you know, players like that. So in terms of the front three, I will go Cunha obviously on the left. On the right, I'm going to go Bryan Mbeumo. You know, I'm going to give him a chance to redeem himself because we all know he's a quality player. And up front, Benjamin Sesko. I do think he can do a really good job tomorrow by stretching Brentford, you know, and obviously on the counter-attack as well with his movement and link-up play and stuff like that. So, look, it's going to be a very interesting game tomorrow. That is the starting 11 that I would go with. In terms of my prediction, this is going to be a very close game. A very close game. I don't think it's going to be a 2 or 3-0. I saw some people predicting 2 or 3-0 to Man United. If you think Brentford aren't going to score, no, they could easily keep a clean sheet again, Manchester United, and I really hope they do. I hope that back four keeps a clean sheet again. Obviously, with Maguire coming back into the team, I think that's a massive plus for us. But with the way Brentford, threaten, from counter-attacks, and getting balls into the box to Igor Thiago, and obviously players like Kevin Shada, Coyote, from long throws situations, he's unbelievable. As I said, set pieces for Brentford are vital because obviously Keith Andrews, before he was a full-time manager, was a set piece coach. So look, they're a very, very dangerous side from set pieces. We need to defend them well, and we need to be defensively well set up for that. And obviously Carrick, I expect Carrick and obviously the coaching staff he has behind him to know that. So look, I do think Manchester United, especially in transition, have to be very well up for it. When we turn the ball over, in terms of counter-attacks, obviously Mbeumo, Sesko and Cunha need to be honest, because Bruno Fernandes, when he picks up that ball, he's going to be looking for runners in behind, and obviously people making runs. So Mbeumo, Cunha, they know what to do. And Sesko, get in the box for crosses and start winning fucking duels in the air. Like, this guy is literally, what height is he? 6'5", 6'6", 6'5", I think. Start winning headers, please. Like, start winning headers, and the goals will just flow from there. I have no doubt. I actually have no doubt next season Benjamin Sesko is going to be a very, very good striker next season. Where he could get 15, 20 goals next season. So look, it's going to be a very important game tomorrow. I do think it's going to be a 2-1 win to Manchester United. It won't be easy. As I said, it's going to be a close game, but I do expect us to get the win. I really do. If we can't beat Brentford at home, it's a bit of a momentum killer, as I said, going into that game against Liverpool. And if we lose against Liverpool, we'll be slipping down the table very fastly. But look, obviously if we win tomorrow, fantastic. Beat Liverpool, we're back in the Champions League. Let's go and get this fucking win. 2-1 Manchester United, Cunha and Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes will assist Cunha, and he'll be 1 assist from matching the record and 2 from breaking it. It's as simple as that. Look, lads, this has been my preview against Brentford. Let me know your predictions in the comment section below. Let me know what you think will happen, and let me know what team you would go with as well. Would you play Heaven and Mazwari again, or would you play Maguire and Heaven? Who would you start on the right-hand side, and Mbeumo or Ahmed? This is a bit of a good headache for Carrick to have. So let me know what you would do. But that's my team, and that is my prediction. So let me know what you think will happen, lads. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as always. More stuff coming soon, and I'll catch you for the reaction tomorrow night. Massive game tomorrow, Manchester United. Please go and get the win. Go and get the win against Liverpool, and we can chill out for the rest of the season with Champions League football, baby. Come on.